Hi, everyone. This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire of the Maverick universe, and you're listening to Mavericks Do It Different podcast. Today, I want to let you know a bit about myself, this podcast, and what it means to be a Maverick, what it means to be doing it different every day. When you want a different future, when you want a different life, when you want to create even more results in your business and personal life, or for some of you, any results in your business and personal life, this podcast is for you. Grab a coffee, grab your notebook, and let's get moving. I'm Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire. I've been an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur for almost 40 years. I went to school to be a clinical psychologist, and about halfway through college, I realized this may not be my immediate future. I got interested in the psychology of business, sales, influence, persuasion. And right out of college, I went into straight commission sales in the medical field. And within 1 year, I had my first company with 7 salespeople answering to me. As you might have figured out by now, I answered to the beat of a different drummer and always have. I used to think I became an entrepreneur because it was the smart road. What I've learned about myself over the years is that I was totally unemployable, so I had to figure out how to create independently. Now, decades later, I have. I've always worked for myself, getting paid my value every step of the way, and in taking control of my future, my destiny. I have built a life of abundance for myself, my wife, and my children. For decades, I have studied the techniques, strategies, and methodologies of the highly successful. Read all the books, listened to all the recordings, taken all the courses, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on my non-formal education, and then applied them into my life step by step, watching what works, what doesn't work. Yes, some things don't work. It's hard to believe. Some of the techniques written in the great books that you study actually do not work when applied in the real world. Oh, they sound good on paper. However, they don't hold up to practice and certainly don't deliver during the tough times. What I can promise you is I will tell you the real deal based on my experience in using the information I teach or refer to. I've read the textbooks, applied them, and then I'm bringing the information to the doorstep. I'm bringing it here to share after I've done all that, after it's been proven to be usable. As I was saying, I graduated from college and spent 10 years in the medical field, another 8 years in the dental field, selling almost everything there is to sell in those two industries. I went on to delve into wealth building strategies like real estate and stocks, built up millions of dollars in real estate, learning the ins and outs of every type of real estate deal there is. Even became a realtor and a mortgage broker for a few years to learn the game from all sides. And as my success became obvious, more people started asking me questions about how do I do it? How do I do this and that? How do I pull all this together and make it happen? Now, important to this story, while I was in the medical dental industry, I had a life-changing experience that set me on a different path. And it was the beginning of the journey that I'm on right now. The life-changing experience was, well, I got married and had 6 children. Yes, you heard right. 6 children, actually 3 sets of twins. And as you can imagine, this changed my world dramatically. I had 6 kids under 6 years old. My financial makeup went completely upside down. I went from a family of 4 with my wife and 2 children to a family of 8 in 14 months. It was time for me to get real, to get busy. It was one thing to do things different. It was quite another to create magic consistently, persistently, to create not just 6 figures, but multi-6 figures and even 7 figures to create a lifestyle I imagined for my family. With a family of 8, $100,000 will not cut it. The goal and direction became so much more. As I mentioned, I got busy, re-examining everything I did. I learned the strategies. I internalized the methodologies, and I got real with myself. Studying, applying, learning, growing. I learned the highly successful methodologies in any and every category, how to operate differently than most, to do things differently, and even think differently than the masses, and as such created an entirely different result. Highly successful people operate from an entirely different rule book. And as I became more and more focused, motivated to apply these differences into my life, I also began to do things massively different to create massively different results. To do it different means to approach a task or situation in a different way than usual. To do it different means to rethink, reconnect, reinvent, redesign. It means using a different method, strategy, or approach to achieve a goal or to solve a challenge and create a result. It means breaking with tradition or conventional wisdom and doing something new or unconventional, doing it different. It can involve thinking creatively and outside the box in order to come up with a new, innovative solution. Yes, thinking outside the box, lateral thinking, creative thinking, involves looking at a challenge from different angles, considering unconventional solutions to achieve unimaginable results. In this podcast, I want to share with you what brought me so much abundance over the years, not just one industry or in the good times. These methodologies have brought me results in multiple industries over decades of ups and downs. I have achieved high results in real estate investing, mortgage brokering, financing, as a realtor, from being a coach, trainer, speaker. I even developed a publishing house and a speaker support business. I'm even in a movie. These methodologies enabled me to co-author with hundreds of people, speak on stages with even hundreds more, run over 250 boot camps all around the world, and I've coached tens of thousands around the world. All this is producing tens of millions of dollars for me and hundreds of millions for my students and joint venture partners in the process. The key to true success, the true story, is its diversity and longevity. My success has happened in multiple industries over decades and has thus withstand the test of time. With many downturns represented in our economy, consistent, persistent behavior has been the key to building a great life that I've been able to achieve consistently through good times and bad. Yes, I was even in real estate in 2006, 7, and 8 during the last downturn in the economy. How, you ask? How do you make this happen? Great question. How do you do all of this? How do you think outside the box to create your dream life, build your dream business? Welcome to the Maverick Do It Different podcast. We're going to be answering this question and so much more through the whole process of this podcast, through every topic and conversation. For now, let me delve into some of the basics. Let's start with, how do you begin to think differently, to process differently? A couple places to begin. Take a break. Take a break from the challenges and change your environment. Step away from the challenge at hand for just a bit so you can come back to it with a fresh start, with a fresh perspective. Go do something different, anything different, to change your scenery as well, to stimulate new synapses and create new creative thinking. Number 2 is collaborate. Discuss the challenge with others. Bounce ideas off of them as sounding boards, brainstorming with them to create new perspectives from a different angle. Number 3, I would suggest ask what-if questions. What if you do this or that? Consider doing different approaches and possibilities. Imagine the worst and the best case scenarios. Imagine the extremes to get perspective on what is most likely. Number 4, break it down. Divide the challenge into bite-sized pieces. An elephant is eaten one bite at a time, and map it out. Use techniques like mind mapping and pro and con scenarios to get perspective. And number 6, embrace uncertainty as well as ultimate possibility. In the Maverick community, there are core principles we adhere to guide our world, making life much more manageable to navigate. One is there is a solution to every challenge. Now, there also may be multiple solutions, but there is at least one. So keep searching for it. It will come to you. You want to be a maverick? You want ultimate abundance? You want to be doing it different? Be aware. This involves approaching tasks or situations in an unconventional way, breaking with tradition or conventional wisdom, and thinking creatively outside the box in order to come up with innovative solutions. Are you up to the task? You must use different methodologies, strategies, approaches. Take risks. Do something that has never been done before by you or possibly by anyone to achieve your desired outcome. In order to achieve the results you want, you must do all this and more. Are you ready? Let me share with you a little bit about my early journey. I was 22 years old and an opportunity presented itself, or at least I saw it as an opportunity. Others saw it as a challenge. I was a straight commission salesperson for a privately held company in the medical industry. And well, they were being investigated, and within days, they were actually shut down by the feds for Medicare, Medicaid fraud. Overnight, every salesperson within the company had nobody to back them. Well, most of them were gossiping about what was going on, and still others were holding their head going, oh my gosh, now what am I going to do? I got together with another 20-year-old and created a solution, a new business. Within 2 weeks, we had the company, business card, stationery, storefront, and 7 salespeople. We got busy building a business, building a company, and creating a new destiny. It was the first time, and certainly not the last. I use these methodologies to create mastery in my external and internal world and create success, happiness, joy, abundance. I built it for me, and now I'm sharing it here with all of you. Are you ready for the next step? Are you ready to jump in and make this happen for you? That's what this podcast is all about. Here's the next logical expansion to this discussion. If a fish does not know it is in water, how do you know you're thinking outside the box while you're still working within it? It can be difficult to know if you're thinking outside the box while you're working within it because the box represents the set of assumptions, bias, and preconceived notions that shape your perspective. These can be difficult to recognize and even more difficult to change, especially since they're deeply ingrained in our subconscious. To see beyond ourselves, if you will, takes some practice. A couple ways to do this: to actively seek out diverse perspectives, to challenge your own assumptions. This is what I want you to do. This is one of the major benefits to hanging out in communities like ours. We can provide that feedback loop necessary to create awareness and ultimate change. Overall, you'll want to seek out people with different backgrounds, experiences, viewpoints, and actively listen to and consider their ideas and perspectives. Additionally, intentionally expose yourself to new experiences, new scenarios, so that you can effectively challenge your current way of thinking. This could involve reading books, articles, research, or possibly even listening to podcasts just like this one. Expanding your influx of stimulus to include topics that are outside of your usual interests or expertise. Ultimately, the best way to know if you're thinking outside the box is to be aware of your own biasness, assumptions, and your willingness to question and challenge those biases and assumptions. This can be a difficult and ongoing process, but it is an important part of fostering creativity and innovation. Are you ready to do it different? Are you excited to be a maverick? We are here for you, and we're on this journey together. Thank you so much for tapping in, being a part of our community, and listening to this week's episode of Mavericks Do It Different podcast. We really appreciate you and the time you spent here. And I want you to go ahead and share this on Facebook, Instagram, so that the Maverick universe keeps expanding. And be sure to tag me at Paul Finck Pro so I can say hi and love to connect. Please join us next week for another amazing episode of Mavericks Do It Different podcast so you can keep learning, so that we can keep growing and our community continues to support our goal to create the world of our dreams. Share this knowledge, do it different every day, and continue to be a maverick. Till next time, everyone.
Thanks for being here today. As our gift to you, be sure to go to themaverickuniverse.com where you can download your free copy of the Maverick Manifesto. Until next time, dare to be different. Dare to be a maverick.